This is a podcast called 25 Whistles, talking football, and they all wear a whistle. Yeah, it's stupid, but what did you expect? It's a podcast called 25 Whistles. 25 Whistles.
Yeah. Ooh. That's called a run, boys.
That's a good run.
Thank you. 25 Whistles, presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app and use the code BobbySports to get in on the action. I got a winner today. Some days I don't have winners.
All right.
I got a winner today. I never felt better about a parlay in my life.
Ever.
Love
it.
I got a winner today. So we're going to get to that coming up in just a minute. We're going to talk to Matt Miller, talking about the 2024 NFL draft. Caleb Williams, Drake May. Every quarterback's awesome now, apparently. Which is true, though. The quarterback play is just really good. And NIL is helping because these kids are staying in school longer. So it's super cool to see that he already has his 2024. It's not a rough draft. That's funny, a rough draft.
Rough draft. That makes sense.
God dang. How do I not have something called the rough draft? That's a draft. Wow.
Writing that down.
It's like my brand of 420 golf. FORE.
Have you thought more of that?
No.
420. Wait, I didn't even think about the FORE 20.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
That was my brand name.
Man, but then
I don't even smoke weed, and I was like, this would be the perfect brand for like people that love golf and smoke weed. 420. FORE.
Are there a lot of those dudes?
I don't know.
The weed smoking golfers?
Probably.
Oh, yeah, because people smoking weed just like normal now.
There's weed smoking everything, dude.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't even know if that brand exists. 420, but I thought of it, and I was like, that's a good one. I don't want to look it up because if it does exist, I'm going to be sad, so I don't want to look it up now. Did you already look it up?
No, but I was about to.
I looked it up.
Does it exist?
There was an event, like a 420 event.
FORE?
Yeah.
Oh.
But there's no brand?
There's no brand connected to it. That's all I found.
Dude,
that's it.
wide
I'm going to
open.
start smoking weed just so I can have the brand.
Yeah, please.
I think I'm more
Please do
excited for that.
Please.
God, I would love it. It'd be so awesome. I could relax. Can you imagine?
You probably love everything you don't do.
Imagine me relaxing.
Oh, dude.
It's not even something crazy like just imagine me relaxing.
Imagine me enjoying life.
There are days where Mike and I will talk to each other and go, have you had lunch today? It's 4:00 p.m. Nope. Okay. We don't even go, well, should we eat? We just keep going. It's like I live in a constant stress. I love it or I wouldn't do it. Don't feel bad for me. But
I wasn't.
Yeah, no, don't. I'm not asking for that. I'm just expressing. But 420, man.
Yeah, man.
Hey, watch this. Wait, 4. There you go.
I wonder if you're any good at golf, though, if you smoke.
Yeah, my friends are.
They're better?
Well, they're just good. I don't know if it makes them better or not, but they're good.
I got you.
Yeah, they're pretty good. All right, let's get it. Let's get the tittle tattle.
It's time for the stupidest name ever. It's the tittle tattle with kickoff Kevin.
Which fan base will be more annoying this weekend if they pull off an upset? Miami versus Texas A&M or Texas at Alabama?
Well, you have 3 annoying programs out of 4, though. That's the weird thing. Which program do you think is more annoying out of Miami and Texas A&M?
Or to say that they're back.
Yeah. But I'm saying Alabama wins. They're not back. They're just Alabama.
They're always
Right.
good.
But if Miami wins...
Miami,
then-
I can see it. Texas A&M, I can see it. Texas, I can see it. Are all 3 of those in your mind part of that group, or did you have one of the other 2?
No, so Miami or Texas.
Okay, so Texas A&M, though, to me is the same.
They're
Because if
pretty
they
annoying.
win, they're going to be like, we're back. We told you. It's funny that you didn't think
True.
about Texas A&M in that light. I do because I'm a big SEC guy, and I deal with Texas A&M all the time.
But do they have like the whole phrase, we're back?
No, they always talk about it.
I think they believe they're good.
They cry.
Always.
They cry like little babies. And remember, if I disrespect your program, it means I respect you, okay?
Right.
But I hate them.
Right.
Okay.
They're like, I'm an Aggie. I'm baby. We spend the most money on our players.
And
we're
the coach.
We're awesome. We paid Jimbo Fisher $57 million just yesterday alone. It's like, God dang, then win a game. So of all of those, I'm going to rank them 1, 2, and 3.
All right.
Most annoying?
Most annoying. Which I'm taking Alabama out. I love Alabama. Alabama got so annoying to me that I just love them again. Because I would get so annoyed by Bama fans. But then they just start winning all the time, and you're like, you know what? You turned into such a villain that you're now a hero again. So shout out Bama fans. Love you. Georgia now too. I'm jealous of you. I love you.
Dang, they're going to be running
It's a
wild.
good life over there.
Yeah, it must be nice. So I'm going to go at number 1, the most annoying fan base.
Out of those 3.
Yeah. is Texas.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because they used to be good, but they haven't been in a long time. Like occasionally they sniff it a little bit, but not since Vince Young. You would think they won a national championship every third year.
Colt McCoy.
They won a national championship.
Yeah, they got blown out because he got hurt.
Yeah, but they didn't win national. But you would think because of the recruiting classes that they have, the money they spend, the coaches they go through, that there's some standard that they have this expectation of, and when they don't meet it, nobody's meeting it. They just one to the next, on to the next. Texas is the most annoying fan base ever. I'm very jealous of them, by the way. They got awesome facilities. They do it right, man. It's awesome. Number 2 is Texas A&M. And maybe just because I have to hear them. Maybe if I lived down and had to hear about Miami all the time, it'd be different for me. I think proximity is probably a big part of this, where I lived in Austin for 12 years. So I'm going to go Texas A&M, and Miami. 3 programs that have a lot of history and are really cool. And I wish that I had the history of winning like they do. But I hate them all because I'm not them.
I don't really know the Miami fan base.
I think that they've kind of accepted more recently that maybe we're just not ever going to be
back. They keep coming back. Like, it doesn't matter who the coach is. Cristobal, we're back now, baby. Every new coach they get, it's like Miami's back. The U of M.
Is that what they say?
The U-M. The M-U. Because the 80s, Jimmy Johnson era, we weren't really understanding it then, but we can look back at it. But the 80s, and then even when they had those awesome freaking teams with they had like Jason Taylor, they had, and we can go through like nine different first round NFL draft picks at once. I'm thinking of Jason Taylor, right? He played for
Sean Taylor.
Sean Taylor,
Yes,
thank you.
Yes. I know what you're talking about.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jason Taylor was a Dolphin, though.
Yeah.
So same
It's
city.
Miami.
Same
Oh my
city.
God! Yes, that's true. Okay, so I'm gonna go Texas A&M and Miami, and I'll also say this: none of them are back. All right, next.
Okay, with Clemson's ugly loss the other night, are the Tar Heels the only real contender for the Seminoles in the ACC?
Clemson will be fine. Remember last year they had the worst season ever. I think they lost 2 games. They're not gonna win a national championship, and that's the standard they expect now. But no, Clemson's still going to be troublesome. Remember, they got a new quarterback, the Klubnik, the kid. He's really good. But Clemson is not the Clemson of 5 years ago. However, they're still going to win 10 games pretty much every year. So I think Clemson still probably wins the ACC. And that's a weird thing to say after they just got beat by Duke so handily. But I just look at history and say, well, we've been through this before, and they've still really played well. I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt.
Really?
Yeah.
Over Florida State?
Yeah. Florida State does look good. I watched Florida State and Oklahoma even in the bowl game last year. They do look good. The Florida State game, though, to me, remember, we saw them beat LSU last year, too. And it was 2 teams that got better as the season went along. And I don't know that I believe Florida State's back. Like those other 3 programs. I know.
Another Florida team.
I know. They're back, baby. All right, what else?
The first NFL Sunday kicks off this weekend. Which game are you most excited for?
Oh, it's called All. All.com.
What about the first?
All.com. The Thursday night one.
Yeah.
Mike, when does this air?
Friday.
Oh.
You mean the one last night?
Yeah.
The one last night.
Great
How,
game. Great
how
game.
exciting
It
was
was
that?
crazy. When those life-size ants crawled onto the field,
Yeah. Who saw that coming?
not me. We taped this right before the game. I didn't know if this was going up this afternoon or tomorrow.
It's just so exciting.
But right now, it's Friday.
Yeah.
I'm going to go. I'm excited. The word's not excited. I'm intrigued by the Browns because they should be good. They don't really have a weak situation on their team offensively or defensively. One that you look at as their vulnerability. Their offensive line's good. Top 5, 7 offensive line. Amari Cooper's good. They got receivers. Deshaun Watson's supposed to be good.
Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb's awesome.
Yeah.
Their defensive line. Like, they have it everywhere. Problem is they're Cleveland.
Mm-hmm.
And the other problem is Deshaun Watson still awesome? You weren't really going to expect him to come in last year through a suspension and just set the world on fire, but he didn't. He also didn't. It was not good. But he's supposed to be really good. And according to Eddie, a really good guy.
Yeah.
Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's what they say. He's really turned things around. He's a bad dude for a little bit, but he's good now.
No, I'm just kidding. Eddie didn't say he's a really good guy.
Eddie just went with
I
him.
like how Eddie was like, yeah, why
Roll with
not?
it.
Yeah.
I think he's changed things around,
Yeah,
man.
I
Good for
don't-
him.
Yeah, sure.
That Browns Bengals game is very interesting to also see Joe Burrow to see if he's healthy or how healthy he is. 49ers and Steelers are going to be good. I think Pickens big year this year. I think Pickett plays with 2 gloves and that's weird. He throws the ball with gloves on his hands.
Yeah, that's weird.
I think his hands are so small he uses that extra layer to make it,
Better grip.
and just larger hands.
Yeah, I guess so.
He puts padding in there. It's like my underwear when I was like 15. That game's good. Packers and Bears. I'm ready to see if Fields really steps up. He's got a number 1 receiver now, and DJ Moore. Like, he played so good the last 8 games of the year last year with the Bears. And also Jordan Love with the Packers. Tua, what quarter will he get his first concussion?
Is there an over-under on that?
It's just like, if he even gets hit halfway, he's going to have to come out of the game.
Yeah.
The Chargers, Justin Herbert, it's like, I get it. He's supposed to be good, but he's never done anything. Everybody's talking about how he's elite. He's on this elite level. And I used to believe him, but now he's never done. He was hurt last year.
He played through it. But
Okay, great. But he didn't show me he was elite. I know he is because the people that are smarter than me say that. But okay, show it then. Is this the year he shows it? The Cowboys are going to be really freaking good.
Yeah.
And I'm not a
That's
Cowboy.
exciting.
I'm not a Cowboy fan, but they're going to be good.
You are a Cowboys fan.
I know I am. And the Giants are going to be good.
Well,
Dable's second year with that offense and Daniel Jones, all those are exciting to me. So, like I said, all.com.
Aaron Rodgers?
Oh, yeah, I can't get enough of that. Yes, let's go.
That's going to be exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Monday.
That's
Yeah.
Monday night game.
That's tomorrow's Saturday, then the Sunday, then Monday.
Yeah.
Because today's Friday. All right. And finally,
Last one. Which rookie quarterback do you think will have the best day in his first start? Bryce Young at the Falcons, Anthony Richardson versus the Jags, or CJ Stroud at the Ravens?
the Bryce Young situation is scary because that offensive line just is not good. I would pick anybody against the Falcons, honestly, but that offensive line, they gave him no time in any of these preseason games. Anthony Richardson's going to be interesting because I think this dude is going to put up some crazy games, but also make some bone. I think he's going to be a really good fantasy quarterback, but not the greatest normal quarterback because he's going to make a couple -2ers. They're going to cost him games, like interceptions, -2 points, or to fumble, but I think he's going to get crazy fantasy points, but I just don't think he's going to be able to win games with that team as well. Not him for sure, but also it's not like he's surrounded by a bunch of weapons. Jonathan Taylor's not even playing.
Right.
CJ Stroud, I don't know. I don't have a feel on that. Houston sucks. And he just looks like a slow statue quarterback with a really good arm. And how effective is that going to be in an offense where that offense isn't really built for anything to succeed right now, much less a quarterback that's not really making plays for himself as well, that can do the extra. Not that he always will need to, but when you have a bad offensive line, it's like Barry Sanders. We used to play for Detroit. You know why he has so many freaking highlight videos of him doing crazy things? Because he had to do crazy things.
Broke 8 tackles.
Yeah, and that was to get 3 yards.
Right.
So I'm probably gonna go Bryce Young at the Falcons only because it's the Falcons. That's the only reason. But I cannot wait. I cannot wait to have a Kit Kat bar. Oh man, it's gonna be good. All right, that's Tittle Tattle.
The stupidest name ever. It's the Tittle Tattle with Kickoff Kevin.
A reminder, 25 Whistles presented by DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. Download the DraftKings app and use the code BobbySports to get in on the action. Are you ready?
Let's go.
More smiles, all smiles, no frowns.
Come on, baby.
ASNF. Sounds dirty.
And that's a long one.
ASNF.
It's a long acronym.
All smiles, no frowns. ASNF sounds bad. But we're going to go with it. It's a 4-game parlay. 4-game parlay. 4-game parlay. We're going to have a 4-game parlay.
Another one.
All money lines. Notre Dame money line at North Carolina State.
Yeah, I like that.
Oklahoma money line at SMU versus SMU. So we got Notre Dame money line, North Carolina State. Oklahoma money line versus SMU. This one's I get it, it's a little risky.
You need a risky one in there.
Oh, I got a couple.
Oh, boy. I was hoping it was just one.
The Hugh Freezes at Auburn The Hugh Freezes, Auburn Tigers at Cal. Now, not the craziest of crazy, but this is a whole new Auburn team. I'm taking that. And then finally, the craziest of them all, 2 top 25 teams playing each other. Tulane's getting a lot of love. But Ole Miss is going to lay the smackish, downish on the headish. So we got Notre Dame, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, and Auburn. Those are my four-game parlay. Four-game parlay. 4-game parlay. Okay? And if you were to bet, because I already bet mine. Mike, I texted it to you this morning, right?
Yeah.
Okay. If you were to bet, did I text it to you or email it to you?
Emailed it.
Do you have the numbers on that?
Again.
Let me read. I'll read this here and just read me the numbers of what I bet and what the payout was. If you want to take 25 whistles parlay, check out DraftKings Sportsbook. New users use the code BobbySports when you download the app. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility restrictions apply. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem? 1-800-GAMBLER in New York. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY. Text HOPE-NY 467-369. See show notes for full details. That's it. Thank you. We're going to go talk to Matt Miller now. Matt Miller, what's up, buddy?
Not much, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm super excited for this.
Man, me too. I'm excited too because somebody that's already dialed into the 2024 mock, like that's where my head is anyway. But I don't have the knowledge that you do, and I'm watching all
That's
these.
why I exist, man. That's the whole point of my job is for that.
I was so excited to talk to you because this past week, as we go into it's week 2, but week 0, so week 3, you get it. But I'm watching Riley Leonard play at Duke, and they're beating the crap out of Clemson, and I'm like, dang, Riley Leonard is such a baller, and I really hadn't heard his name a lot, as in all the quarterbacks, the Drake Mays, the Caleb Williams, and then I watch Michael Penix Jr., who just has a cannon. I believe he's left-handed. He's left-handed, right?
Yeah.
And I'm watching him, and there are so many quarterbacks. It feels like more than ever before that are elite. Now, as we look at the draft next year, am I right about that, or are a lot of these guys going to end up coming out? Like, how do you see all these quarterbacks shaping up?
Yeah, I think you're right about that for sure. And it is, you're right to notice it's a deep class. There's a lot of reasons for that. Some of it is, guys like Michael Penix, who didn't enter the NFL draft last year, decided to go back to school. Some of it is that we have, the beauty of Caleb Williams and Drake May. Drake's at North Carolina, Caleb's at USC, who we saw last year break out. But it's just a super deep class. And I think it's 7-on-7 has these guys playing a high-level quarterback a lot earlier. They're not just playing 10 games of high school football like we all did. They're playing football year-round. That helps. So it is a really deep group. And if they all enter, we could go into like a 5-hour conversation about NIL and how that has changed the landscape of college football in the NFL draft. But should these guys all enter, we're looking at really a very, very deep group coming off what was last year, a very deep group. We saw 3 in the first round, but round 2, round 3, round 4, we're seeing a lot of those guys make NFL rosters and be counted on as high-level backups, maybe even quarterback of the future type guys.
Are there 6 or 7 though that could go in the first round next year? It just seems like this class is so there's just so much more quality as well.
Yeah, right now it looks that way. I wouldn't say 6 or 7 because we're talking record setting when we get to 6 or 7. It is interesting to see, like you said, whatever you want to call it, week 2, week 3, whatever we are in right now. There's so many guys that came out and played at a high level right off the bat. And so now, my job is to track them. Let's watch over the next 10 weeks of football, 12 weeks of football, and kind of see what happens. Because there were guys who also maybe didn't perform super great in their first 2 games that still have a chance to ride back up that ladder. You mentioned Riley Leonard, who had, a standout game Monday night, Labor Day, everybody's watching. He actually didn't throw the ball that well. If you look at his stat line, he was like 50% completion percentage. It's what he did with his legs. It's what he did with that 44-yard touchdown run. Those are kind of the things that you remember, but it'll be watching that progress of guys like that and see how they climb the ladder, who can be the player that kind of emerges as that quarterback number 3 after Caleb Williams and Drake May. Is it Riley Leonard, who I know my guy Mel Kiper Jr. loves? Is it someone like Shedeur Sanders at Colorado, who his first game at Power 5, he threw for over 500 yards and looked very impressive. So there's a lot of names out there that we'll have to keep track of now.
With Duke, too, with Riley's like 6'4", right? I mean, and again, you say 50%, he didn't have to throw a whole lot, but just looking at him, he's a big old boy and also able to play quarterback where it wasn't like impeding him that he was so big. He just looked like a naturally 6'4", NFL type body.
Oh, you're right. I actually had to look. I texted a friend of mine and was like, how big is he? Because a million things going on at once, and he's compact. So you kind of look at him and you think 6'1", 6'2", especially for how well he moves. Then you realize he's 6'4", 212. You see the video of him doing 360 dunks in high school as a basketball player, and then to have some of the ability as a runner that he has at Duke. This isn't a small guy who's frail and has opened himself up to big hits either. I mean, at 212, he's able to absorb some contact and deliver some contact. So those are things that you can get really excited about, is that athletic ceiling that he has. Duke obviously has had some good quarterbacks in the past, Daniel Jones being one of those, who was also a very good runner as well as thrower. I think you can see a ceiling for Riley Leonard. As much as I don't like to compare players from college to college, you can kind of see a ceiling of what type of player he could become.
You mentioned Shooter Sanders. Was he already, on the list of these? This guy could possibly be a top 3 or 4 round quarterback, but now you go, maybe his ceiling is higher than we initially thought?
I'll tell you this. I work with NFL scouts, agents, college coaches, you name it, to get a list over the summer of players to scout. And that list is like 1,500 players long. Shedeur Sanders was not on that list. Some of that is because he's a junior, and so you don't know if he's going to enter the draft after this year or not. So there's some, a little bit of ambiguity there. But even watching him play at Jackson State last year, it was like, gosh, he was dominant. But you always have that question of, was he a big fish in a little pond at Jackson State? You're not necessarily competing against other 4- and 5-star type players. When you go to Colorado, TCU, you're playing against 4- and 5-star players, 3, 4, 5-star. To have that debut performance absolutely puts him on the map as a draft prospect, as a Heisman candidate. I mean, he's the name that you're getting asked about the most this week as an NFL evaluator. But hey, what about that Colorado quarterback who looked really good throwing for over 500 yards in his debut? And, doesn't help being Coach Prime's son, because he's going to get some good PR that way.
He's also Louis Vuitton luggage, if you remember correctly.
Right.
Coach Prime's bringing his luggage, and it's Louis Vuitton, and that was part of it. Let's talk about Spencer Rattler. We spent some time with Shane Beamer over in Columbia, South Carolina, a few weeks ago, just hanging out, learning about the program, and I'd asked him about his offensive line, and that seemed to be a big question, at least from outside in. Because otherwise, South Carolina had a great year last year. Rattler was coming back, but then I watched them lose that game to North Carolina, and their offensive line struggled because Rattler could throw the ball, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And being someone who follows Oklahoma because of my wife, and I'm a big Southeast Conference guy because Arkansas, so I followed Spencer Rattler the whole time, the whole saga. Like, what? I've never seen a guy that was the favorite for the Heisman. Then Caleb Williams takes over for him, goes away, comes back to South Carolina, has a shot, stays. Like, what even is his ceiling? What even is his floor at this point? Because he throws so well, but it's just not happening yet for him.
Yeah, on potential, on traits, you would look at the arm strength, the ability to make things happen. We call it off-platform, when a guy's kind of running around back there, creating on his own. When you think of like a Patrick Mahomes, or go back to even a Johnny Manziel in college, somebody that's just able to create. He does all that really well. Where he struggles is when you get into that structure, the framework of the offense of 1, 2, 3, throw the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, throw the ball. That's not where he's at his best. He is a little bit of a shorter guy, can struggle to see over the line a little bit. But the arm strength and the creativity makes me think, like, let's get him somewhere where he can be developed. That last year he ended so well. The last 2 games last year, you thought, this guy's really rehabilitating his draft stock. Let's see what he can do. Come out against the North Carolina defense that really had their way with them. And you're right, Bobby. I'm a Texas fan. I'm glad we got deep into the interview before I told you that. But watching him come in at halftime, and Caleb Williams comes in at halftime to replace Spencer, you got the OU fans chanting, "We want Caleb" at halftime. Here he comes, and that story has written itself now. But it's been a tough road for Spencer Rattler, and I think everybody was hoping that this year would be kind of a redemption tour for him a little bit, because he has, kind of got pushed out and had a tough go of it. He may have stayed at OU had we known that Lincoln was going to leave and that Caleb was going to follow him. I mean, it's really been an interesting situation.
Would he be again, this is all speculation, but you're the guy I want to talk to about speculation because I trust your speculation, but would he be a top 4 rounds pick right now?
I would say no, because like what you and I were talking about earlier, how deep this year's class is, traditionally we don't see that many quarterbacks drafted. You think about supply and demand. Every team needs a quarterback, right? It feels like, except for like the Chiefs and the Bengals, the Bills, the Eagles. But most teams carry 2 quarterbacks. We're seeing that right now. So there's really room for about 64 quarterbacks in the NFL. And so you're not going to bring in 20 new ones every draft class. I think 12 to 13 is about normal in terms of the entire draft. So for Spencer to jump a guy like we talked about, a Riley Leonard, to jump a Bo Nix at Oregon or a Michael Penix at Washington, Michael Pratt at Tulane, doesn't seem very likely at this point, but we've still got 12 games. Hopefully we'll see him in an all-star game, whether that be the Shrine Game or the Senior Bowl after the year, where he can really help improve that draft stock.
We do jump to conclusions. I mean, we had one week, Matt, and I'm like, it's over. Number 2. I mean,
right.
That's what we do. That's what we're supposed. So as far as Marvin Harrison Jr., Ohio State has year after year, they're just pumping out elite receivers, right? Elite receivers, one after the other. And he played with a lot of those guys. He played with those, a lot of the guys that are in the NFL now. So is he as elite as he is in your draft? I know you have him going number 2 to Arizona, but that's because they probably also have the number 1 pick. Meaning, would he go in as a top 3 pick to a different team, or is it because if Arizona does get that pick from Houston and their own pick that they're going to pick based on need? Or is he good enough to be a top 3 player by himself anyway?
Yeah, he's good enough. He's my number 2 ranked player, and I've talked to teams who say he's the number 1 ranked player in this draft class. He's so special. Everything he does, he makes it look easy, and it's actually really hard. Change of direction, the way he tracks the ball. To be 6'4", 215 pounds, and to be able to adjust his body the way he does, whether it's going up to grab a ball or getting low to catch something, is truly phenomenal. And I think we'll probably see a dip in production this year because they're breaking in a new quarterback in Kyle McCord. They have a very deep receiver room, as you mentioned, but that should not take away from his greatness. And you talk to Brian Hartline, who was their receivers coach, is now their offensive coordinator. And also, he was a great at Ohio State and played in the NFL. And he'll tell you that Marvin is special. To have his size and understand the intricacies of the position is really rare. And he's going to get mentioned alongside names like Calvin Johnson and Julio Jones and AJ Green, who were top 5 picks at the wide receiver position, which is something that just really doesn't happen that often.
We were talking pretty recently about the best college wide receivers we had seen, and Calvin Johnson at Georgia Tech. And I didn't even think about AJ Green at Georgia until you just mentioned. And obviously, I watched AJ Green freaking dominate Julio Jones at Alabama when they had just a running team, but they would just throw it to Julio because he was just bigger and faster than everybody else. When you mentioned those 3, like, they were so elite. And Marvin Harrison, you're saying is that?
I think so. I think on traits, on talent, yes. Now, Ohio State spreads the ball around so much. At Georgia Tech, when Calvin was there, they were still running the triple option. So we didn't even really get to see what he could really be as a wide receiver. So Marvin might not hit those numbers this year. He might not hit those markers where you look back and you're like, that was a historically great season. But I think on just the ability to play wide receiver, yeah, he's up there with those names. And Calvin is different. There's a reason they called the guy Megatron. Physically, I don't know that we'll see, Calvin Johnson, DK Metcalf, they're in a tier by themselves physically. So I don't want anyone to expect Marvin Harrison to be 235 with 4% body fat. That's not who he is. But at just being great at playing wide receiver, he's definitely up there with those guys.
You have Caleb Williams going number 1. I feel the same way, but I'm not as smart about it as you are. But what is so different about Caleb Williams from an expert's opinion?
The ability, I would say, to be poised when there's chaos. Sometimes he makes that chaos himself, where he wants to run around and extend plays, but he's so great at keeping his eyes down the field, of finding calm under chaos is what he's great at. And I hate comparing anyone to Patrick Mahomes. I think he's the greatest quarterback on the world right now. But Caleb does some things that you've only ever seen Patrick do in terms of, I'm going to drift away from my offensive line and make a play 25, 30 yards downfield. Caleb had one of those last week where, it feels like the play's going to break down, but he's fast enough, strong enough, poised enough. He's got a great enough field vision to find his guy. When a lot of players are not going to be able to do that. They're going to panic when they see, defensive linemen in their face. When they feel that pressure of defensive linemen chasing them, they're going to panic. And he doesn't do that. And the fact that as a college junior, he has that much poise just makes you feel really great about where he can get. And, Bobby, the fact that he has no deficiencies. You look at his game, he's 6'1", 215. That's definitely big enough. Arm strength is there. accuracy in terms of completion percentage is there. You watch the athletic ability for him to run around and create and make plays, or even what he does as a runner. He checks every box from if we went down a list of traits at quarterback, he's going to hit every one of those. Then you add in kind of that special rare talent of how he's able to go out and create and play off platform. That's what makes him really, really special.
Yeah, the intangible thing. And I hate the guy that goes, do you remember this play? But I'm about to do that to you. There was a play when they were playing Kansas. Oklahoma was about to get beat, and he took the ball from his own running back, and that he pulled it from his arms as his own running back was getting tackled, and they ended up going to win that game because, again, he just had the wherewithal to go, okay, well, game's about to be over. I'm going to pull the ball back from my own player and win the game. Like that, you don't see that very often. And it seems like he's doing that so many times that it's not just luck.
Yeah, and let's remember, he's 20, 21 years old. So it's like he has that confidence in his own ability at that age, and that's only going to increase. You would think, more repetition, more success, that confidence and belief in himself is only going to increase. And it's crazy. We in my profession, especially with quarterbacks, you almost want to see them handle adversity. What do you look like when things aren't going well? And I think for Caleb, it's the battling with Spencer for that starting job as a freshman. It's the transferring to a new system and having to acclimate on the fly. And oh, by the way, you got and score 50 touchdowns and win the Heisman Trophy. He's not playing with the Alabama offensive line in front of him. He's breaking in new wide receivers consistently. So I think we've seen him. Yes, he's with Lincoln Riley, which helps a lot. USC is not football poor in any sense of the word, but we have seen him, have to adapt. And I think that's the thing you really like to see.
How many weeks next season until Texas starts to wish they weren't in the SEC?
I think it's already gonna happen Saturday when they have to go to Tuscaloosa, and it's like, oh, what did we do? But when the checks clear from the SEC media rights, I think everyone will be pretty happy. But Sark's got a tall task. I firmly believe they made that firing and hiring with the idea that we've got to win in the SEC, and this guy knows how to do it. So at Texas, you can't just be recruiting classes. Eventually, you got to be wins, and I think that's where they're at this year.
Yeah, I give you a hard time being a Texas fan, and my wife and that whole family, they're all diehard Oklahoma fans, and they're just happy about going to the SEC. Everything's going to be the same in their mind, and I'm like, I can only say so much. And also, they could prove me wrong, but I'm like, you're not getting to play Iowa State. You're not getting to there's a couple of those, but they're not even consistently bad. You better catch Auburn on a year when Hugh Freeze has got his first year. You better catch Mississippi State. Like, they got to put in a new coach because their other coach died. Like, I mean, so it's like even the bad teams, except for Vanderbilt, and they're getting better. Like, there aren't any Big 12 type guaranteed wins in the SEC, and I think that's exciting. I love that Texas and Oklahoma are coming because I respect the program so much. Like, love the history. As a fan of Texas, though, and just your personal feelings, like, is it exciting to go to the SEC, or are you more nervous about it?
Both. I think both. As an analyst, like, it might put my job hat on first. It's exciting because you always want to see best first best. And so you're going to get that. And I live in SEC country. I live like an hour and a half from University of Arkansas. So it's like, okay, now for me, I got that hour and a half drive. I can go watch Texas come through, Oklahoma come through. Every weekend in Fayetteville is now a great weekend for me to go scout players. So I'm excited about that. I think as a fan, someone that's watched the University of Texas for 30 years, it's scary because the SEC is, I mean, how many national championships in a row are we talking right now? And you've got Nick Saban, greatest college coach of all time. Kirby Smart in Georgia look unbeatable, despite what LSU put on the field Sunday night. That's always a tough program. So yeah, I mean, you've got those, like you said, every stop, even Vandy. They're going to be there's times they're tough and well coached, and they're going to have some guys out there. And Texas, I mean, they struggled with Rice in the first half last week. And so I think that's the thing when you get in the SEC, you can't have those where you play down to your competition because those teams will smack you in the mouth. They're too talented. And that's really where Sark's got to figure out a way to turn this team around. Like, they're going to play up to Alabama. They did it last year. They'll probably do it again this year. But you got to, like, in the SEC, you beat Rice 70-7. You don't play Rice close, and that's what they did last week. So that's where I get a little bit nervous.
And I say it out of respect. I hate Texas and Oklahoma, but I love them because I always say on this show that if I hate your program, it's because either you beat me or I don't want to have to play you or I'm annoyed that you're getting all the good players, right? That it's like hating someone in sports is a sign of respect. So I hate Texas. And I grew up in Arkansas, and we hate Texas. But I'm so excited. When Texas came to Fayetteville last year, and we won, like, we flipped our crap. We stormed the field. It was
Yeah, I
it's
remember.
that old
Yeah.
school rivalry. And I'm not even bragging. I mean, I am a little. But it's that old school rivalry that we're losing a lot of because of all the conference realignment. But some of it is getting put back into play in certain areas as well because of that. And I'm super excited that Texas is coming to the SEC just because I can't wait to beat the crap out of you. That's the truth. That's what it's about.
I mean, I'm just glad KJ Jefferson won't be there next year for this to happen.
Possibly.
Because
He could stay another year.
Right, with these COVID guys playing 7 years
That's
of college
right.
football now, so maybe. But it's going to be exciting. Like I said, living so close to U of A, like being able to just hop down there to watch these great teams come through every weekend I'm going to be spoiled.
Eddie?
Yeah, Matt. So, like, you're so knowledgeable with all of these players, all of these teams. Like, are you ever at a barbecue with a bunch of bros and they're talking sports and you're like, guys, like, you don't know what you're talking about?
No, because I think sports are so objective. Like my son and I were eating last night, and he likes to be quizzed about football. And I was like, "Who's the greatest player ever?" He was like, "Tom Brady." And then my daughter across the table was like, "That's just an opinion. It's Joe Montana." And there's no right answer. It's just like, what is your opinion? It's not how many points is a touchdown worth. It's okay. It's 6. So I think a lot of my friends have also known me from before I worked in sports. When I was just like the really nerdy guy who was oddly obsessed with the NFL draft, but no one was paying me to talk about it. So they definitely still give me, enough trash about the days when no one cared what I had to say about sports. They're probably still in that category.
Two, being someone who's an expert in sports, like you have to also look athletic or you get a bunch of crap. I never thought about this. So let's say Matt goes out and it's like, hey, let's just throw the ball around. And he throws like some of these actors playing football players and they can't
Like
throw
a
at all.
left-hander.
It's like you kind of
Right.
have to be that dude a little bit too, since you're elevating in the sports world.
I had not thought of it that way. So
Oh, great.
As soon as we're done, I'm going to go like jog today or something. I always tell people I went to a 1A high school in Missouri, which means that there were 120 kids in the whole high school. And I was probably the worst football player on the varsity football team. So I don't have any great stories of my athletic ability from back in the day. I'm sure anybody from my high school who catches this will be shaking their head at that. Like, yeah, nope, he was probably better on the newspaper yearbook staff than I was the football team.
Yeah, be a late bloomer though. You can always lie. That's the thing.
That's true, right?
You can always lie. Be a
I
late
peaked at
bloomer.
20.
That's
Yeah.
right. Everybody, go check out the NFL mock draft for 2024. To me, it was so fun to see it because again, I am oddly obsessed with it, and I also am just so curious about the Rams and the Cardinals and these teams that are not going to win. I mean, the Cardinals have tanked already. They when they cut Hopkins, they did it so they would fill part of their freaking budget up, because you have to have a minimal. And so they're like, well, we'll just cut them, and our salary cap's going to be eaten up somewhat. Like, they're doing strategic things to lose every game. It's wild. And so to watch the Cardinals tank for Caleb Williams and then also have that Houston pick where they could end up being 1-2 or 1-3, and they're praying to God that Stroud doesn't have an amazing – like, it is so exciting for next year, especially with all the big quarterbacks. So when I saw your list come up, I loved it, and I'm a big fan of your work. So thank you for coming on today.
No, man, I'm a huge fan of your work as well. So this is great. We'll have to do it again.
Man, I'm telling you, the Cardinals, they want to play with 9 players. Like, I think they would go to 9 players and just be like, oh, we didn't know we needed 11 this year.
I'd watch that.
Like, they're going to tank so hard. Right. I mean, how do you tank with a bunch of professionals, though? Like, what would you do strategically, Matt? How would you tank that team?
I would do exactly what they did. I would cut Colt McCoy the last week of the preseason and say, Josh Dobbs, who we just traded for, or Clayton Tune, who we drafted this year, one of you is gonna roll out there and play quarterback. And it's tough. You've got 53 professionals, and they have to think about their next contract. They have to think about their careers. Like, they don't want to lose either. But if ownership says, y'all seen Caleb Williams or have you seen Drake May? It's pretty hard to go against what the owner ultimately says if that's what is happening. But I'll throw this out there, Bobby. We have to remember Caleb Williams has another year eligibility as well. And he is a very smart young man. He's a very savvy young man. He does not need the money thanks to NIL. This is not like it used to be where young guys are looking at the NFL saying, man, that's $30 million that I would have to turn down. Caleb Williams could stay at USC for another year if he does not like that team in the top spot, take his NIL money, which I'm sure is very, very lucrative, and say, I'll roll the dice next year. He can also pull an Eli Manning and say, sorry, Cardinals, I'm not playing there. I know how talented I am. I know my leverage. I don't want to be there. So not saying I've heard any of those things, but Caleb Williams is a unique player and probably a prospect we have. It's Trevor Lawrence, Andrew Luck. Those are the types of names he's get mentioned with, where those guys have a lot of leverage. They don't necessarily just have to go along with, on the first pick, let me go to the worst team in the NFL.
The Eli Manning thing was so bizarre. Remember the Chargers drafted him and ended up being the Phillip Rivers trade. But Elway, and this is before me, and I'll wrap on this because you just send me into a different place. Didn't Elway say I'm going to go play for the Yankees?
Yes.
And
yeah.
Because who was trying to draft John Elway initially?
The Colts, the Baltimore Colts.
Yeah. And he was like, no, I'll just go play
Yeah.
baseball for the Yankees then. I mean, but now they have even more leverage than that because of the money they can make at NIL with NIL. And you know what?
Yeah, it'll be fascinating.
I fund some of that. That's right. I do.
Yeah,
I do fund a little bit of that myself. Matt Miller, you guys follow him on Twitter at NFL Draft Scout. He came out with his new mock draft. I want you to go check it out because it is so good if you're like me. Matt, big fan. Thank you for the time. Would love to talk to you again sometime soon.
Sounds great. And hook 'em, Bobby.
Nope, I will never say that or
Put him
acknowledge
up.
it.
Put him
But
up,
no, I will
Bones.
not do
Come on.
that, and I'll hang up on him now. All right. See you, Matt. Can you believe we've had 7 months without an NFL game? Let's go. It's crazy, though. Well, good thing all that's over. NFL is here. DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, is giving you a can't-miss offer for Week 1. This week, new customers can get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you bet just $5 on any NFL game. Yeah, you heard that right. DraftKings is hooking everyone up with game day greatness. All customers can take advantage of 2 new offers every single game day this September. Check the app. See what you get. Download now. Use the code BobbySports to sign up. New customers can take home $200 in bonus bets instantly just for betting $5. That's the code BobbySports, only on DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. The crown is yours. 21 and up in most eligible states, but age varies by jurisdiction. Eligibility and deposit restrictions apply. Gambling problem, 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. See show notes for full details. We are doing the rest of this podcast from an airplane.
How did we get here?
It's
We
a funny
were just in the
question.
studio.
So, the American Indians, Native Americans, they had this land.
Yes, they did.
And we, the white man, stole it.
Yeah.
We're terrible. And then you, the brown man, came at a later point.
No. I was here too, because according to my 23andMe DNA stuff, I am Native American.
Yeah, but I'm also like North African.
Prove it.
So okay.
Wow. Okay, he is.
See, I didn't want to have to do that.
Wow.
But yeah. So if you hear like a zzz, we're on a plane. We're currently flying over to Fayetteville, Arkansas, to shoot an episode of Too Much Access, our football show. So we have an hour, and I was going to actually bring up a couple things while we were talking about this. We had our draft last night of the teams and how good they play. You make money, and if they lose, you lose money.
Yeah.
We did it last year, and I
You had the Cowboys last year.
had the Cowboys as a winner, and they did pretty good for me, and I had the Bears as a loser, and that did great for me. But you can pick a team to win or pick a team to lose. So a couple factors that I didn't know last year when we were doing the draft was if you pick a team to lose and they lose all the games and you do really well, the playoffs still pay out, so the good teams get to keep making money. So there's a slight disadvantage if you pick a loser because they're not going to make the playoffs.
Yeah, 3 games or so.
But not a huge one.
Sure.
But it could be. So they start bidding on, there are 6 owners in this league. Matt Stell, House, who is on with Bill Simmons a lot, all of this group of guys. Same guys from last year. Chandler, who used to play for the Cowboys a little bit, played for,
Chandler?
the tight end.
Scott Chandler?
Scott Chandler, yeah.
Okay.
Oh.
And Bills?
Was he a
Bills.
Colts?
Yeah. But did he play for Cowboys for a second too?
He might have. I
Like at
remember
the
on the
end.
Bills.
Okay.
Regardless, who cares?
He's
We're-
in there too?
Yes. We all have these teams, and so first, Matt Stell is like, all right, you guys can bid for your auction spot. So there's 6. It's like a snake draft, but I don't even know what's a good spot. Like I know in fantasy what's good, but I don't really know like 1 or 6. So I don't spend any money on a spot. I'm just gonna let it happen. So somebody bids like $300, and they buy spot 4. Somebody else bids spot 6. So I don't spend any money on the draft.
So you're going to just take whatever's left?
Whatever's left. Me and another dude were like, we're not spending money on this crap. We lost too much money last year. We're not doing this crap. So I got number 2, spot 2.
Not bad.
I don't know, right?
Without bidding?
Without bidding.
Interesting. No one else wanted that?
And he got 1. Nobody wanted 1. Now, it's every team to win or lose, and you have to have six teams. So you have to draft 6 teams total. There aren't 36 teams in the NFL, right?
No.
Right. So 6 times 6 is 36. So you got losers, you got winners.
Yeah.
Some teams are drafted as a winner and a loser. And so I went 2nd overall. So I'm going to ask you who, in my position, who you would have picked. 2nd overall, winner or loser. The first pick that went off the board was the San Francisco 49ers as a
Ooh,
winner.
that's perfect.
As
Yeah.
a winner.
I would have been excited about that because
So-
as my loser,
No, it doesn't be a loser. I can be a winner or a loser. I can pick the Chiefs winner. I can pick the Eagles winner. I can pick a loser. It doesn't matter.
right, but I would go with the Cardinals.
So over the Chiefs winner or Bills winner.
Correct.
Or okay,
Yeah.
just making sure everybody understands.
I
the
can
rules.
guarantee that the Cardinals are going to be bad.
So
I can't guarantee that those other teams are going to be good.
Kevin, you would have picked in this spot
Arizona Cardinals
as a loser.
as a loser.
And every time they lose, I win.
Correct.
Got it. Who would you have picked?
Dang, that's a good one. Because of their division that they play in. That's why it's such a good one. Winner,
Now you can pick any. You
Or
winner
loser.
Yeah.
trying to think who else is going to be really bad. The Buccaneers?
Ooh,
I'm asking who you would pick.
That's a good bet. That's
As
a
a
good
loser.
one.
You have the 2nd pick. Who are you taking? You can pick a winner, the Bills, the Chiefs, the Eagles.
Ooh.
You can pick a loser, the Texans, the Buccaneers, whatever you want.
Okay. I'll take. Man, that's tough. You already took the because you already took the Cardinals.
No,
No,
Okay,
you-
I take that too.
you're-
Okay,
you're
then
a
I'll
new
take the Cardinals.
person. You're a new
I'll take
person.
the Cardinals. Yes.
Okay, I
Yeah.
took the Cardinals.
Yes,
Loser.
sir.
Yeah.
It was
Okay.
the earliest
sir.
anybody's ever taken a loser.
Yeah.
That's great.
I was like,
yeah.
they're taking the season already.
Exactly.
So I took a loser. They're like, dang. you
Now
took
they're
a-
going to win a couple games,
That's okay though, but
but that's all right.
even the best teams lose a couple games.
Yeah.
So that's how I was looking at it.
Okay,
Like,
okay.
Are they going to be as bad as the best team is good? And I think the answer is yes. Where they could go 13-4. The other way though,
Yeah.
like 4-13.
Yeah.
Or like a winning team, like
Sure,
the Chiefs could go
sure.
13-4. So the problem is though, I don't get any playoff money with a loser.
yeah.
But so I went
That's
first,
all right.
and everybody, the room was like, "Oh, nobody ever goes loser in the first round."
You're like the guy at the craps table that does the no
They're all
pass.
zigging, you're zagging.
So, boom. So I hit it. Okay, boom.
Love it.
Cardinals lost. I don't have the whole order here, but there was not another loser taken. After me, it was the Eagles. It was the Bills. It was the Cowboys, the Ravens. All these winter teams. It gets back to me the second time around.
Okay.
Okay, so I've given you an okay idea of who's left, but who, from what I've told you, who would you then take?
Now I'm going to go the winner's side, just thinking mentally. I'm going to go with the Bengals.
The Bengals were taken.
Ah,
That's
they
the other
were
one was
taken.
taken.
Okay,
yeah.
okay. Let me think for a second, Kevin. If you have one, go ahead.
No, you said the
And
Ravens.
I'm not,
you said the Bills.
I'm not giving you guys a guide to really look at, so it's a little
Let me
tough.
see, let me
Bengals.
see.
Bengals.
Oh, I'll go Vikings.
Okay,
Vikings
Ooh.
will be
Vikings
good,
winner?
Good winning team.
Really? As a winning team. Bengals. You said Bengals are gone. Bills are gone.
yeah, just
Chiefs
yes.
are
I don't
gone.
want to walk through all this again, so you can just say I don't know.
Okay.
Kevin took 10 hours to get to that first Cardinals loser.
Kevin, and it's not real
yeah, dude,
either.
there's no money involved here.
You're not really playing.
Let's go with the Steelers.
I went with the Rams losers. I went with the
Two
Another
losers.
loser.
They're like, oh,
Dang.
no, what an idiot.
Man, you think they're okay?
And
All
you went
right.
with them as a winner last year, right?
I did, and they
Yeah.
sucked.
Wow, that's why you're going this way.
No, I know. I think they're trying to tank the season too. I think you got two teams that don't, and Cooper Kupp's out for who knows how long.
Sure.
I think you got two teams that want a quarterback, and so I picked two losers. So then it comes back to me the third round, and I'm like, I can't take all losers. So all those big teams were gone,
Okay.
right? That we mentioned. So in the third round, second overall pick, I took Jacksonville as a winner.
I like that.
Solid.
It's a good. I mean, that's
They're
a good dark
bad
horse.
division.
So, and there are no at this point, there are no teams over under Vegas like 9 wins. So you're just kind of praying to God.
Did you get the Raiders?
No, I stayed away from them altogether. I had the
Okay.
Raiders as winners
They
last
messed
year.
you up
they
last
killed
year.
me last year. So that third round, I got Jacksonville winners. Comes back around on the fourth round. So again, not a lot of teams left. And you can tell me if you would have taken the winners or losers of this
Okay.
certain team, because
Okay.
it starts to be like that. I got Seattle.
I like that.
But
Yeah, I feel like
I
they're
didn't
gonna
say
be middle
winners
of
or
the road.
losers. I didn't say winners or losers I took. I just said Seattle.
Right.
What would you take, the winners or losers of Seattle?
I would take losers on Seattle.
I would take winners.
I'm taking winners. I think they may win the whole division.
Yeah, because you already took two teams in their division as losers.
Gino's still their quarterback?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the 49ers will probably, but I think Seattle's got a good and it's the NFC.
Yeah.
They're not having to play, for the most part, all those deathly teams of Kansas City, the Chargers, the Bengals, the Ravens. So I found an NFC team I thought that I could probably have a decent shot of getting lucky with.
They might be the oldest NFL team out there, huh?
Seattle?
Geno Smith,
No, they're
DK
like the young-
Metcalf, Tyler Lockett. These are some old dudes.
And
Bobby
they're actually
Wagner.
like 28, though.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like
yeah.
sports old.
Yeah, okay, they're 35.
Okay, so 5th and 6th round, people are just scraping. There are no really good teams, and all the really bad teams are also gone. So when you pick a team,
Yeah.
you're picking them and you're just kind of flipping a coin. So in the 5th of 6 rounds, I picked the Titans.
I think Titans are going to surprise. Let's go winners.
Losers.
I picked the Titans winners.
Yes, sir.
Again, not a great division, but I have Jacksonville in that division too. And I was
And
like,
did
I
I think about
I
that?
also want to root for them.
Sure.
I was so in the middle that I want to root for the Titans. So if I just get to pick, I'm going to pick to root for them.
I do. Do you consider them your hometown team?
Well, hometown, yeah, but are they like my favorite team?
I don't think they're anyone's favorite. I don't even think they're Nashville's favorite.
Do you know why though? Because they haven't been around long enough.
Yeah.
It's not like there are generations
Right.
of people to be like, my grandpa was a fan.
But did somebody ask the question of like, are there more? Oh, during our fantasy draft, somebody asked, are there more Preds fans in Nashville or Titans fans?
Well,
in
Titans
Nashville?
though, but just because NFL's so much bigger.
Okay.
But
Bigger stadium.
Preds same thing. Sports is bigger.
Yeah.
Preds the same thing where they haven't been around for generations, so everybody's new. So it's also more welcoming to be a fan because no one's like, you're a bandwagoner. We're all bandwagoners.
Sure.
This thing hasn't been around for 80 years.
I think the Titans are going to be good this year. Better than people think.
I do too. And then
What does that mean, though? Sorry, go ahead.
I think the Titans can win 10 games.
Okay, that's what I was
Sure.
going to ask. Like, what's the over-under on your games for them then?
Yeah, more than half.
Okay.
These back
More than half.
More than half. Better than
500.
Yeah.
well, the bottom last two pick teams you get, you just want to be over 500 with wins or losses, because that way you're still in the
Right,
positive.
right.
And then finally in the 6th round, I mean, there's nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm 35. I'm 35 of 36 because I'm 2nd overall, and I'm on the back side of that snake.
I want to guess who's in there.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
I feel like Denver's in there
Denver was taken in the 6th round
as a loser.
as a winner.
What
Oh,
about Washington?
They were taken as
that's got to be a winner.
they were taken as a loser late, I believe.
Interesting.
Wow, wow.
I feel like they'd be a
wow.
good late winner.
I think just because Sam, I
Yeah.
hear you. I hear you.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, it's going to be so close.
Yeah.
The New England Patriots.
They
have
were
to still be
taken.
left.
They were taken as both a winner and a loser.
Okay.
I can see that.
Oh, where were the Jets taken?
As a winner,
Okay.
in like the 4th round. The team that was that I picked it, and the same person picked it as a loser. Or I picked it as a winner. They picked it as a loser right after me. The last 2 picks were the same team.
Houston, no.
Oh God,
Colts.
No.
Colts.
You picked them as a winner.
no. Colts were taken as a loser earlier. So the last team was the Bears. I took them as a winner.
Oh, you got to take them as a winner. They were bad last year.
They were real bad.
So they've got to be better,
Yeah, but better doesn't mean even 500.
right?
And it's not get better.
Are you believing the Justin Fields comeback?
I am
here?
now.
Yeah, because your money's behind
I'm
it.
forced to. The last 8 games of last year, he played
I know.
awesome.
And which is funny to hear that because I don't remember that.
I do because I was getting pissed. They were close every game because they had lost all games, and I was like, "What's happening? Why are they playing? Or why are they winning occasionally?"
Yeah.
I do remember that because it was driving me crazy.
Was that Justin Fields just using his legs the whole time?
Yes.
Just
And
saying, I'm tired of this crap?
At first, it was Justin Fields won't stay in the pocket to throw a ball because that offense was him trying to play out of the shotgun and drop back a bit, 1-2 step throw, and then they were like, he won't even stay. Then they're like, we're just changing how we're doing the offense. He's supposed to run, which I
Yeah.
think nothing changed.
Yeah,
he just ran.
Yeah. Let him do him.
But now they have a number 1 receiver. So that's my team.
cool, man.
Do or die.
It's
I've
exciting.
got the Rams and the Cardinals losing in the first time history of the league. 2 first draft picks were losers. I don't really have a big for sure winner though, like a big playoff winner.
No,
But Jacksonville possibly.
I like it.
I think, yeah, that's a good one.
Maybe, but
Especially
it's
for
like
the 3rd round,
Yeah, third round.
right? That's good.
Seattle winners,
Jacksonville snuck into the playoffs last year. Like that's
Yeah, and then they won
and
a
they
game.
won. They beat the Chargers.
you're right.
Yeah.
Which cost me money because I had the freaking Chargers.
Now we're seeing how you picked your team
Yeah,
this year.
it's all vendettas against old ones. So those are my 6 teams. We're going to keep up with them. I will. Here. Rams losers, Cardinals losers, and the 4 winners are Jacksonville, Seattle, the Titans, and the Bears. Which I got 3 2 NFC teams, two AFC teams. But my 2 AFC teams are in a bad division, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there's that. We're from the plane right now, and I had to use sign off, but we got to come back anyway in a minute.
Oh, Roger, we're going
All
to sign
right.
off
We're
here for
gonna
a second.
we're gonna
Over
toss
now.
over to ourselves now. What are you guys most looking forward to this week? It can be college, NFL. I'm sure with you guys it's NFL.
Always NFL.
Yeah. 1000%.
See, it's not for me because my favorite team is college. I'm very much looking forward to the NFL. So I'll go first. It's Arkansas again playing a slightly better team. It gives me a little hope that LSU lost, although I think they'll get better. But it's, can we actually be competitive in the SEC West? That to me is super exciting.
Yeah.
To watch Colorado play again against a slightly better team. Now let's see when people are Nebraska.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what Matt Rule. They lost too. Nebraska lost too, though. So it's not like Nebraska's awesome. That to me is exciting about Saturday. So that'll be it. I was a Cowboy fan last year because I bought them.
Yeah.
This
Are
year
you
I'm
not
just-
excited about the Cowboys this year?
I may put a future on them for the whole season.
Super
that
Bowl?
keeps me, like winning the whole thing.
I like it.
That keeps me in it. So what you're most excited about this weekend?
I mean, it's got to be the Cowboys. I mean, you just want to see how your team's going to be this year. I think, you know what? If I can stay away from the Cowboys for 1 second, I want to see how the Colts. I want to see how what's his name? Yeah, Richardson's going to play. I'm really curious to see how that turns out.
Well, I can tell you how it's going to turn out. You can save this clip. They're not going to win a bunch of games, but he's going to have flashes of, holy crap, that guy at times is really special. But he's probably going to put up
Mahomes special?
different. He hasn't played enough football, though, literally.
Yeah.
I think that with Anthony Richardson, he's going to put up big fantasy points and put up big stats, but they're not going to win a bunch of games because their 2 receivers are Pittman Jr. and Anthony Pierce.
Yeah.
And so when you have a rookie quarterback, and then, Pittman's probably a good number 2. Pierce is white.
Well, you know how that works out.
Yeah. So it's
You're asking what he's doing out there?
you're like, is he confused?
Isn't he supposed to be on punt team?
So I think I think they'll win a couple games they shouldn't.
Okay.
They won't win a whole bunch of games.
Okay.
But there'll be some promise, and there'll be some disastrous games.
Yeah.
But I think they'll put up good fantasy numbers generally, and they'll be excited about next year.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers, too.
That is it for me, NFL wise.
I want to see Aaron Rodgers.
Are you rooting for the Jets or against the Jets?
Oh, like way against.
Oh, yeah,
I
Patriots
can't
fan.
stand them.
Because
They're
you're a
like my
Patriots
Texas
fan,
for
but
you.
because you're a Patriots
Yes, yes.
So it has
Jets,
nothing to do with
fan. The
Giants.
Aaron Rodgers stuff doesn't bother you though.
Oh, I hate him now.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you now hate him because it's not you hate the Jets because of him. You hate him now because he's a Jet.
Because he's on the Jets, yeah.
But do you hate the Jets slightly less because you used to like Aaron Rodgers?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely not. I hate them more now, maybe, because
But
they
you're
have
a
so much
Patriots
hype.
fan. It's so weird that you hate the Jets. The Jets have never been nothing but a blemish on your butt.
I know, and it's great.
And
But
it's
New
weird
York. It's
'cause-
still New York. I hate the Giants just as much.
It's weird because he's from California.
Okay.
True. That's true too.
That's very bizarre.
I'm rooting for the Jets.
So am I.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for. You know what? They made a lot of gambles in this whole deal. Like they
Spent a bunch of money.
spent a bunch of money. Let's see if it pays off. Like I think I'm excited to see if it pays off or not.
Week 1 will be interesting with the running backs because Brees Hall coming off the injury, and also Dalvin Cook, who wasn't really with the team that much. So you got 2 guys who aren't really conditioned. At least the expectation isn't week 1 they're shot out of a cannon ready to go as a back. But yeah, the Jets are awesome.
And who are his receivers?
Garrett Wilson.
Wilson. Okay.
I don't think
Lazard?
Berrios
Was
is there
Lazard's
anymore.
one?
Lazard.
Randall Cobb.
Randall Cobb.
Oh, Randall
all the
Cobb.
Cowboys.
I forget about Randall
Yeah.
Cobb.
Or, I mean, the Packers.
The Packers.
Hey,
yeah.
Mercedes Lewis.
Yeah.
All right.
Sterling
Aaron.
Sharp.
Yeah, it's the New York Packers.
Bart Starr.
Brought them all out.
It's all the guy. So Eddie and I are what we did with NCAA last year, where we had the Eliminator,
Yeah.
where every
Is that a Survivor or
it's a
Eliminator?
it's the same thing.
Same thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you have access to every team. You pick them, they win. You move to the next week,
Can't
but you
pick
can
'em
never
again.
use that team again. So
Okay.
Eddie is captain of our little team, and you have picked
The Baltimore Ravens.
this week.
Yeah.
So they should win, right? Baltimore
Playing Texans?
at Houston.
Yeah.
Right, okay.
But you can never use them again.
Which is kind of always my strategy is like, first things first, I look at the odds. Like, who's got ridiculous Vegas
It's Baltimore
odds?
minus 10.
Right? So you see double digits, that's something. Then you look at who they're playing. Okay, they're playing a bad team. And, you know, Lamar Jackson. I think we're pretty safe here.
I feel it's pretty safe too, but the question is always, are you ruining a pick for later?
That's another thing.
Because there are some games like some teams, Minnesota -6 at Tampa Bay.
Thought about that?
You know, there's only is Minnesota going to be as good this year? I don't think they are.
Yeah. So that would be a good one to take early.
I don't know if there's no such thing as a good one because all of them can lose. But even like Denver at Vegas, right? And that's a crazy. I would never pick this game for that.
Yeah.
Right. But when are you ever going to pick Denver? Only when they're playing a team like Vegas.
Yeah.
I would not pick them for this at all. But like Denver's a 3.5 point favorite. The Buffalo and the Jets game that's crazy.
That's
because
gonna
I
be
don't
so
even know.
close.
That's just like
Right.
you're just walking through a field.
Right.
And if somewhere there's little landmines. You know, who knows? But it's super exciting.
What's your prediction on that game? You got to go Buffalo.
Yeah.
I have this, I close my eyes and I picture, I'm like, all right.
I'm gonna go Jets.
Really? Oh, you're crazy.
I've missed so many. I'm just going the opposite of what I feel.
Hey, it worked last week, right?
Yeah.
You got to stop doing that.
I'm gonna go with the Jets. I'm taking the Jets. Do I get the points or no? Straight or heads up?
No, straight up, win or lose.
I'll still take the Jets.
Okay.
I believe in Aaron Rodgers and his terrible offensive line and old receivers, except for Garrett Wilson and running backs that aren't healthy. Oh God. Yeah.
Still gonna go with the Jets.
Yeah, I'm going Jets. And you're taking the Bills?
Man, I'm telling you, I look at the crystal ball and I see Aaron Rodgers just getting pissed, because things just aren't going his way. I think the Bills are gonna win this one.
You?
Yeah, I'm picking the Bills.
So
they're more put together, man.
The Bills?
The Jets still look like they're trying to
Yeah,
figure
but
it
take
all
the
out.
Jets at least.
well, the Jets have a weird
4
color.
games,
That's just a weird color anyway.
Green?
games.
Yeah, the green's just weird.
Their helmets look like a lollipop to me.
Yes, and they're so shiny. They're like a lollipop. Before we wrap this up, I did watch the Florida Gators documentary
I
series.
did too.
I finished last night.
Everybody watched it. Okay, so I had a different expectation going in.
What do you
It
mean?
basically was, let's make Urban Meyer look cool.
Yep.
Was he a producer in this?
I don't know.
It seemed like it.
But it was like, I started to like him, and I'm like, oh, I'm being tricked. Because he's an idiot.
Yeah.
People that have worked with him that I know have been like, he's like not a good dude. So they didn't even talk about all the arrests. They didn't spend really any time with Aaron Hernandez.
They just brushed the surface
It was
on that.
just like a documentary if the school were shooting it on wins and losses with some Tebow. It was not nearly as gritty as I thought it was going to be. The Pouncey twins didn't get focused on like how hard they were going partying.
Yeah.
Aaron Hernandez only got
didn't-
mentioned punching a guy.
They didn't even show him.
Right.
They didn't show any of his plays, really. Like a couple of
Hernandez?
his plays.
Yeah, a couple.
But there was no focus. There was what was he like in college?
Yeah.
Did him and Tebow, did they fight? Did they get along? They
Yeah.
I did enjoy it, but it was not what the expectation was, which was going to be a gritty series about Florida at that time. Mostly it was just like let's just follow the team along and see how they do. It's like what's the series they do on Netflix where they Last Chance U.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
kind of like that more than it was like behind the scenes of a famous team that got in a bunch of trouble.
What did you think of the culture? Like just that whole,
Like
it was almost military
military
style culture.
But it really wasn't because 40 people got arrested.
No, I get it, but the training culture.
I hear you. I think they
where
just-
they were like literally beating each other
I
up.
think they heightened that to make Urban Meyer look, he's a disciplinarian when he did not give a
Yeah.
So I think that was high. Yes, were they doing that? Yes.
Okay, let me ask you this: when he talks about why he turns the other way, did you remember that part?
Because
he did it one time.
oh no, that's him looking for he's like Salvation
Yeah.
Urban Meyer.
Right.
He's like I disciplined a kid once and then he killed himself.
Yes. So he'll never do it again.
And he's
so
like,
if
I'll
he
never
sees
that's like
someone
a
mess
kid.
up,
That's like Ed, you're a dad. So you're never going to discipline your kid
because
he
one
but you'll
took it
never
really bad.
Right. No, of course not.
It
Maybe
was-
if you would have disciplined him at the beginning, if you would have had some sort of discipline for him early on, he wouldn't have fallen into the troublesome trap that he did there on campus.
I feel like he thought really long and hard how he's going to answer that question.
All of them. All the questions. The whole documentary was him being like, wait, can we take a recut here?
Yeah.
I still enjoyed it, but even the players that we're talking with that were constantly, they were like no names except for Tebow.
Brandon Spikes.
Yeah, you know what's true?
He was
I
a
looked up
beast.
Brandon Spikes, and he only played in the NFL for 6 years.
Yeah.
I thought he played a lot more than that.
Patriot.
Yeah, no name. I shouldn't say no name. I wanted Aaron Hernandez from the Graves.
I wanted
Oh, for
Percy
sure.
Harvin in there too. I wanted to
Yeah.
listen. I wanted to hear him.
And he had a bunch of mental health struggles.
Yeah.
Bad, really went through it. Didn't really talk
Yeah.
about there was just a lot that I thought they were going to get into because
And it's not like they didn't have time. It was a
Yeah.
6-part. Was it 6-part? 4-part?
but the promos made us think they were.
Yeah.
I wasn't just like, man, they didn't give us enough of the sad or the promo were like the team like you've never seen it, and we know their history.
Yeah.
I did enjoy it. I'll give it 3 out of 5 Gator chomps, but I was expecting a 4 and a 5 or 5 out of 5. You?
I'll give it a 2.8. I'm like you. I enjoyed it. I thought it was cool. But
That's annoying to do 0.8.
Why?
You only get half stars and stars.
Yeah, who does that?
Who does the 0.8?
I do.
The same guy that's like, well, let me see. The first round.
Oh, Eddie already took the
But how do you
Cardinals.
even color in a Gator at 0.8?
don't
You color
know.
in
He's got
like
a couple missing
2
teeth.
Oh, 1
thirds?
tooth.
Couple
One
missing
tooth.
teeth.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
okay. Go ahead.
He needs to go to the dentist. No, I liked it. I thought it was cool, but like you said, my expectations were like, okay, I want to get in the ins and outs of this and see what really went down. But it was like a highlight of the team for 4 years. That's all it was,
Yeah.
which is cool because
It was
a
still
fun.
it was still cool.
Yeah,
It reminded me of a lot of things that I've forgotten, but
Yeah.
but also they just kept losing.
They kick
the
it so close.
and then lose.
Or they would
Yeah.
start off undefeated
Yeah,
for
and
like
then lose.
6 or 7 weeks.
And then Tebow's like, oh, we're just missing one. Well, there's like 4 teams that could say that.
yeah.
That were 1 win away. But I do like Tebow. He's an awesome dude. I've met him
Yeah.
a few times. I do love that dude. So I'm just gonna say that for the record. I love Tim Tebow.
Yeah.
what do
I
you
like
give it?
how they all got together at the end. You know, a little barbecue.
They were
whatever.
like, wow, Tebow wants to hang out with us?
Yeah, I
They
know.
were all surprised that
You
Tebow
never
showed
wanted to
up.
talk to us.
Tebow's here? What do you give it?
I liked it. I mean, I like every football documentary. Like, just because I didn't know much about Florida then. So I learned a few things. But yeah, the Urban Meyer stuff kind of annoyed me a little bit.
Yeah.
But I would watch one episode, then I would go on, do something else, and be like, oh, I can't wait to get back and watch
Same.
another
I
one.
binged it. So I
So
still
I
really
liked
liked it. I just feel like they didn't give me what they said they were going to give me.
Yeah. What'd you do, 3.8?
No, 2.65999428
2.8? I'll give it a 3.
Banana peel. Like, what kind of
I
scale
give
is
it
that?
3 Gator chomps.
Okay, so that is it for this week. That parlay. We had to beep out me saying some stuff.
Yeah.
But This is a if you've ever like wanted promised smiles.
You like it? You feeling confident?
It's a
Good.
4-game parlay. 4-game parlay. We're gonna bet a 4-game parlay. All right, we'll see you guys. Follow us, please, at 25 Whistles
Please.
on social media. We need the followers. And Mike, is there anything else I need to do? All right, from the airplane. What'd you get for lunch?
Caesar salad.
What'd you get?
Southwest chicken salad.
What'd you get?
It's called antipasto.
Oh. Is this because you just came back from Italy?
No, I always get it. It's like
Now you just eat Italian food?
meats and vegetables. That's not pasta, but still Italian. Yeah. You didn't order from the vegan menu. Good
I
for
did
you,
not.
buddy.
I found the real menu
That's
now.
it.
Yeah.
All right, thank you guys. We'll see you next week. Bye, buddy.